What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're getting into my February 21st. Man, it is crazy that it's already February 21st. We're getting into conference tournament play. Um, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to be getting out with my conference tournament predictions video soon. I believe the first one is the first season that ends. I'm not sure, but I think February 24th is when one of the regular seasons for one conference ends. So I'd be starting up um, a bracket then potentially. But anyway, let's get into the bracketology now. Yeah, I mean, another crazy week of college basketball here. Top of the seed is Alabama right there. First team out, we got North Carolina, who've lost two straight now. And then the last team in Wisconsin took a tough loss to Rutgers. Just barely lost that one. That was a tough one for them to swallow. But on the bubble here, we look at the last four byes. We got Memphis, Boise State, Oklahoma State, and then West Virginia, who West Virginia right now just lost to Texas Tech, a big loss for them. And Oklahoma State's not playing really good either. They got crushed by, I want to say it was Iowa State. I'm not sure, though. But then the last for him, we got Nevada, who took a tough loss to Utah State on the road. Good Utah State team right there. And then Mississippi State, barely beating Ole Miss in overtime. USC, and then Wisconsin. First route, we got North Carolina, Charleston, New Mexico, and then Utah State, as I mentioned, beating New Mexico. That was Nevada. That was a big win for them. And then the next route, we got Oregon, Arizona State, and now Texas Tech, who really has climbed themselves out of the hole. They've won three straight. I believe Kansas State, Iowa State, and now West Virginia. Three big wins for Texas Tech. They are fighting their way into this picture, and then Penn State right there. All right, but let's look at the full the movement here in this bracket, starting out with Nevada dropping down to 11 seed. We got Mississippi State going to be new to the field there at 11, and then USC new to the field at 11. In the South region, Alabama, the number one overall seed right there. And then we got Memphis jumping up to a 9 seed, losing by 9, I believe, to Houston on Sunday. Indiana jumping up to a 4 seed, just barely beating Illinois. Big win on the road. I believe it was on the road. Yeah, it was. Correct me if I'm mistaken, but I do think it was on the road and against Illinois. And then we got Illinois, as I mentioned, losing to Indiana, dropping down to a 7 seed. In the Midwest region, Houston, number 1 seed there. Texas A&M going to be jumping up to an 8 seed, playing really good. They got a big game tonight against Tennessee. Rutgers dropping down to a 9 seed. They got a win against Wisconsin. I guess Texas A&M coming up means Rutgers is going to be falling down. They're right there, though. Miami going to be dropping down to a 5 seed. Not sure why. And Marquette also dropping down to a 4 seed. San Diego State going to be jumping it to a 6 seed, as well as Kansas State jumping it to a 3 seed, getting a win against TCU, I believe. And then Missouri going to be dropping down to a 10 seed. They've been kind of faltering as of late. Still believe in that program, though. In the West region, Kansas getting a big win against Baylor. Man, they were down by like 17 at halftime or whatever, and won by like, I don't even know, double digits. All I know is a huge second half for the Jayhawks. And then last night, going into TCU Stadium, really tough team for TCU that was getting healthy for that game. And they went in there and pulled up a big win. So Kansas is looking like a really serious contender right now. And then UNC Asheville going to be dropping down to a 16 seed. We got Iowa dropping down to an 8 seed. They got crushed against Northwestern. Arkansas going to be jumping up to a 9 seed. We got Xavier jumping up to a 4 seed. Iowa State going to be jumping up to a 3 seed. And then Boise State going to be jumping up to a 10 seed. Also, I believe Oral Roberts should be jumping up here as an 11 seed. Big success for Oral Roberts here. We love to see a mid-major team step over West Virginia right there. So that's big for Oral Roberts in the West Virginia. Just going to say it right now. They should be dropping down to a 12 seed. But Purdue, as the number 1 seed there, getting back on track, just crushed Ohio State on Sunday. Kentucky going to be jumping up to an 8 seed, sweeping Tennessee. That's a big win for the Wildcats right there. We got Pittsburgh going to be dropping down to a 9 seed. UConn dropping down to a 5 seed right there. And then we got Gonzaga dropping down to a 4 seed. Iona going to be new to the field at a 13 seed. Duke going to be jumping it to a 6 seed. Oklahoma State going to be dropping down an 11 seed. They have been struggling right now. And then Hofstra dropping down to a 14 seed. We got Auburn jumping up to a 10 seed, and then Vermont dropping down to a 15 seed. All right, but let's get into the bracket now, starting out with these first four games. To start out here, we got Nevada against Mississippi State. Two good teams, but I do like Nevada more. I think they can win that game. And then Alcorn State gets Fairleigh Dickinson. I'm going to Fairleigh Dickinson. Really good matchup between Wisconsin and USC. I was kind of having a tough time picking here, but I'm going to go with the Badgers of Wisconsin to win, and then Howard against Morehead State. I'm going Morehead State. All right, so let's look at the round of 64 now. Alabama will be able to handle their business against Fairleigh Dickinson. NC State against Memphis. Really good matchup here. Another tough one to predict, but I'm going to go with the 8 seed NC State, playing really good basketball in the ACC. Creighton, I do think, can beat Kent State, as well as Indiana pulling off the win over Yale. Then I'm going to go with an upset pick. I really do like TCU as a team. I think that they could do some damage, but with Nevada coming off a first four game, it's been proven that first four teams have won in tournaments. It gives them a little bit more of an advantage to get that game behind them. And I really like Nevada a lot. I'm TCU, big fan of them, but I just think it's going to be too much for them. I'm going with the Wolfpack to win that one. And then Virginia, I do think, can hold off Colgate, as well as Illinois gets Florida Atlantic. I'm going to go with the 10/7 upset here. No disrespect to Illinois. They're a good team, but Florida Atlantic's a really good 10 seed. And then UCLA, I think, could beat Kansas State. Down here, we got Purdue against Morehead State. I'm going with Purdue. Kentucky, I think, could beat Pittsburgh there, as well as UConn pulling off the win over West Virginia. Was debating going that 12 seed upset, but I don't think West Virginia is good enough there to pull it off. Gonzaga, I do think could beat Iona. Duke against Oklahoma State. If you asked me this about a week ago, I would definitely pick Oklahoma State, but they're struggling. I'm going with the Blue Devils in that game. And then Tennessee, I do think could beat Hofstra. And then really good matchup between Providence and Auburn, but I like Providence a little bit more, as well as Baylor beating Vermont. So all chalk in that region, just don't see an upset happening. Houston, I do think, can beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Texas A&M, I think, could beat Rutgers. Miami, I think, can hold off Drake, as well as Marquette beating Southern Mississippi. San Diego State, I think, it can beat Wisconsin, and Kansas State could pull off the win over UC Irvine. Now I'm going to go with the 10/7 upset here. Michigan State, good team, but I like Missouri a lot. I know they've been struggling, but I think they're a really good team. And then Texas, I think, could beat Youngstown State. All right, over here we got Kansas beating UNC Asheville. Iowa against Arkansas. I know Iowa just lost by a lot, but I do like them a little bit more than I do Arkansas. And then I'm going to go with the 12/5 upset here. Let's go with VCU beating St. Mary's. St. Mary's is a good 5 seed, but I really do like the Rams out of the A-10 here, playing good basketball. And I think that St. Mary's is a weaker 5 seed. And I'm going to go with a big upset pick here again. Utah Valley pulling off the win over Xavier. I'm a big fan of Utah Valley here. They're a good 13 seed. I think that they could pull off the win over Xavier. I'm just not a big fan of Xavier. I mean, as a 4 seed, I think that they're probably the weakest of all the 4 seeds right there. And I think that Utah Valley could pull off a massive upset. All right, I really do like Oral Roberts, but against Northwestern, I just don't think it's going to be enough for them. As an 11 seed, though, they're a dangerous team. Iowa State against Eastern Washington, I'm going with Iowa State. And then Maryland can hold off Boise State there, as well as Arizona beating Samford. All right, let's go over here for a spot in the Sweet 16. Alabama against NC State. I'm going with the Crimson Tide. Indiana, I think, can pull off the win over Creighton. Then I'm going to go with a big upset pick here. We're going to go with Nevada pulling off the win over Virginia. Big fan of the Wolfpack. Virginia, I mean, they've just playing against everyone close. I mean, they just barely beat Louisville, I believe. And Louisville's just not a good team. So I'm not sure if it was Louisville. Correct me if I'm wrong, but all I know is that they just barely beat someone. I like Nevada a lot. I think that they can pull off the win. And then UCLA against Florida Atlantic, I'm going with You know what? Let's do it. Let's go with the 10 seed Florida Atlantic pulling off the win. I'm not a big fan of UCLA right there. And Florida Atlantic, good 10 seed. I think that UCLA is prone to have an upset early on, and I think that Florida Atlantic's the team to do it. So we got two double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16 right there. So we're going to have at least one in the Elite Eight. All right, Purdue against Kentucky. I'm going with the Boilermakers in that game, although I could see an 8-seed upset. UConn against the Zags. I'm going with the, never mind. I'm going to go with the 5-seeded UConn in that game. Tennessee, I think, could beat Duke, as well as Baylor against Providence. I'm going with the Bears. So over here, Houston against Texas A&M. I'm going to go with a big upset pick here. Let's go with Texas A&M. Don't get me wrong. The Cougars are a really good team. Last time I picked Houston in this game, but I think that Texas A&M can walk away with a win here. Usually there's a first team that goes out, of number 1 seed that goes out in the round of 32. I think that Texas A&M could do it here. I mean, they're a really good 8 seed. They're playing really good in the SEC. So I think that Houston, maybe it may be able to get the best of the Texas A&M Corpus Christi, but not the regular Texas A&M, I guess. But then Miami against Marquette. I'm going with the Hurricanes in that game. San Diego State against Kansas State. I'm going with the 3-seeded Kansas State, as well as Texas pulling off the win over Missouri. All right, down here, Kansas against Iowa. I'm going with the Jayhawks. And then we got a 12 seed versus a 13 seed. VCU gets Utah Valley. I'll take the Rams of VCU. And I'm going to go with the 6 seed to pull off the win over Iowa State. Iowa State, really good 3 seed, but Northwestern just playing way too good in the Big Ten right now for me to count them out. I'm going with Northwestern. And then Arizona, I think, can pull off the win over Maryland. All right, over here, though, we got Alabama. We got Indiana. Last time I picked Indiana, these two have been matched up in the past few bracketologies. I'm going to have to flip it up this time, though. I'm going with the Crimson Tide. And then Nevada against Florida Atlantic. Two really good teams here, but if I had to pick, I'm going with the 11 seed Wolfpack to advance on to the Elite Eight. And then down here, we got Purdue. We got UConn. I'm going with the Boilermakers of Purdue to advance. And then Tennessee against Baylor. I'm going to go with the 2-seeded Baylor. All right, over here, Texas A&M against Miami. Oof. Really good matchup here. If I had to pick, I'm going to go with Miami, though. I like the Hurricanes a lot as a 5 seed. And then Kansas State against Texas. Let's go with the Kansas State. Let's give the Wildcats some love right there. All right, down here we got Kansas against VCU. I don't see the Rams pulling off a major upset. I'm going with the Jayhawks, and the Northwest against Arizona. Give me Arizona. So a lot of craziness. Let's get into this here, though. A 1 seed versus an 11 seed here. Alabama against Nevada. Unfortunately, I don't see Nevada pulling off that upset. I'm going with with Alabama, and then Purdue against Baylor. Let's go with the Baylor Bears. I know they just lost, but it was my team to win last time in the championship game. Let's go with the Bears. Or, you know what? Never mind. Let's flip it up. I think last time I went Baylor. Purdue's still a really good team. They got their revenge last time. And then Miami against Kansas State. I'm going to go with Kansas State in that game as a 3 seed. And then we got Kansas and we got Arizona. I really do like Arizona as a team. But the way Kansas is playing right now, I just can't pick against them. So we got 3 number 1 seeds. A lot of chaos going on, but we ended up with 3 number 1 seeds. And then we got a 3 seed in Kansas State. So Alabama against Purdue. I like the Crimson Tide more than I do Purdue right now. I'm going with Alabama. And then we got a battle of 2 Kansas teams here. Kansas State versus Kansas. 2 Big 12 teams. Let's go with the Jayhawks. Got to give them some love. And then Alabama versus Kansas. I'm going with a repeat champion here, Kansas Jayhawks, just playing too good right now. I mean, they're really finding ways to win in the Big 12. It's impressive. Alabama, really good 1 seed too, though. I could see either of these teams winning, but I'm going to go with Kansas right now. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your predictions. And anyway, peace out.